Everybody, happy Monday. We're on our way out here to do some showings out in Roane County today. So have a shorter video. This will probably only be a couple minutes. It talks about some government housing. And I'm not talking about the rental stuff. I'm talking about actual purchasing of it. So there are situations basically where certain areas, locations, zip codes, streets, flip, certain things where I'm going to give you at least my opinion, basically where the government can offer, tax incentives maybe to the seller, the flipper, or something like that, in order to just sell it to people that fit this cookie cutter mold for affordability, right? So in theory, like the design of the program makes sense, right? Hey, listen, you prevent investors, you prevent people with more money from coming in and buying these houses out from under, first-time buyers and lower income people, right? So you get them good homes, decent areas, stuff like that. So I think the program itself on paper, it's one of those, right? They send the bill along, it sounds good on the media, it sounds good on the news, and it's like, oh, this is great. They're giving these programs to people that, don't have to make under a certain amount of money. That's the key here. You got to make under a certain amount of money. But what they don't know, or what they don't teach you, is all these rules that come with it that make it almost impossible for somebody to buy one of these. And I'm going to give you one quick example that goes over everything you need. So usually these price points, are going to be under $250,000. So I'm just going to use $250,000, which is kind of like usually kind of at the max in this area of what these houses can fall under. That is a monthly payment of about $1,750. So your monthly payment on $250,000, if you put no money down, is about $1,750, give or take, right? So we're just going to use $1,750. Most of these programs, if you are a single person, put you a maximum that you can make $45,000 a year. That means if you make more than $45,000 a year, bam, you don't qualify. Done. So usually that's the number that I've seen whenever I've shown these, been involved, and had people interested. $45,000. Right. So if you do make $45,000 a year or less, then you can qualify. However, then there's a debt-to-income ratio, and this is what kills it for everybody, right? Now, I realize these programs are potentially designed more when interest rates are 3%, and it probably makes a whole lot more sense. More people can buy them. It's not that big of a deal. But when interest rates right now, even if they're 6.5 right now, you got to think they just were 8. I'm going to give you the numbers here, right? So most loans looking at debt-to-income, they want it to be about 45%. So let me explain. If you make $45,000 a year, divide that by 12. You're going to get a total of $3,750. So you're going to make $3,750 a month. They're going to look at that. They're going to say, okay, the mortgage and combined with all other debt cannot be more than 45% of your debt to income ratio. Well, let's recap. The monthly payment is $1,750 on a $250,000 house. 45% of $45,000 is $1,687. That's a difference of $63. So literally, you cannot have no debt. You cannot have a credit card minimum payment. You can't have a student loan. You can't have a car. You have zero debt. Zero debt. And you can basically cap out and maximum afford a $250,000 house at the maximum at that income. And again, a lot of decent jobs now are paying more than $45,000. If you make more, you don't qualify. Well, you basically, that's where it gets in. It's almost impossible to qualify for these because the cookie cutter mold is like such a small percentage of people. That's, the odds of that person that fits that mold, that it's going to look at that house and be interested, is like almost impossible. I've seen houses been sitting for like 18 months that fit this. Been sitting there for 18 months vacant. Done. Nice house. I've probably showed it two or three times at least, and people were interested. They would have bought it, but they didn't. You have to go through. You have to apply within a program. You have to be approved. You have to go through all these steps, and a lot of people just don't even want to deal with that steps anyways. But none of them fit that mold. One of them made like $38,000, so that the 45 was over their debt to income. So they made under the limit, but their debt to income was too high to afford the dang house. because of interest rates. So yeah, I could vent on these. And again, on paper, it's one of those things, sounds good, looks good, do the right thing, you know, for lower income people. But anything you get the government involved in is just shit. Let's just be honest, it's crap. But that's how these programs generally work, and that's why I really like you don't see realtors marketing them or pushing them or saying, hey, you know, here's one, you know, affordable housing, blah blah. It's because the odds of you finding a buyer that fits that mold, right? No student loan, no credit card. Well, heck, you about got to have a credit card to build your credit up. You got to have credit to at least qualify for the loan. So then you got to have a credit card. Well, if then basically got to say, all right, well, I'm not going to use my credit card, so I don't have a monthly payment. So then you don't get the benefit. It's just like it's totally crap. But yeah, just wanted to kind of make a video that talks about. I've had several people, you know, hey Steven, you know of any houses that's, you know, government affordability programs, and yes, it's not really a filter you can necessarily search for, or at least something that's real easy that I'm aware of. But there are. I've showed several of them. They're out there. But again, you got to fit the molds. Basically, it's pointless to even going and looking at it until you apply and see if you can even qualify. And again, if you got in a case like this, even if you made the most you can, you got $63 difference. Again, so that's basically zero. You can't even have, nothing, no debt. But as always, guys, any questions on stuff like this, I always enjoy kind of getting questions and comments on, you know, kind of unique stuff that's, you know, not that's very common in real estate. So if you have questions, always feel free to holler. You have a great day.